on YouTube and LinkedIn. Hi, everyone. Welcome, welcome. My name is Kimberly Hess, your favorite cultural anthropologist and empowerment coach, founder of Sweet Like Honey Coaching. I am here to help you realize your wildest dreams. Let's begin. You're going to see me looking off to the side. You're going to see me looking off to the side because I have TikTok on. So don't mind me. I'm just I'm just here to address everyone. So I left the link for you folks on LinkedIn. If you would like some free online coaching, take that link, put it in your search bar, copy it, paste and go. And then you can come on with me. So what will happen is you will be a guest and you can tell me what's going on with yourself, what the issue is, maybe there's a problem, and then we'll go ahead and talk about that, and then we'll come to a resolution. Easy peasy. So go ahead, copy, paste, and come join me. For you folks on LinkedIn, and you feel free to leave your camera off, but if your camera is on, even better. Folks on TikTok, you know how to ask to be invited. So come on in. We'll talk about what's going on in your life. I don't have any notes today. I really wanted to do this live to see how you're doing. Sorry, I have a mint in my mouth. How are you doing? Right? And I know we get asked that every day. Every day, every day. Someone is like, "Oh, how you doing?" Very casual. "How are you?" Even to strangers. How are you doing? Um And what is our typical response? What do we always say? "Oh, I'm fine. I'm okay. I'm good." Which is, I think, an appropriate response to have if your coworker, I need a little more light. If your coworker is asking you how you're doing, or you pass someone on the street and they say hello, and those are niceties. Those are niceties. But now you're with Auntie Kim. Right? That's what my nephews call me, Auntie Kim. Um, you're with Auntie Kim. You're with your BFF. You're with your confidant. You're in a safe space. So I am going to ask you how you're doing. But before we do that, I will love everyone to go ahead and close your eyes if you can, or just lower your gaze, soften your eyes, and take a big, deep breath, right? In through your nose, let's say to 4, and then hold it, and then out for 4. So in for 4, big, deep breath. 1, 2, 3, 4. Hold it at the top of the breath. 1, 2, 3, 4. It's really hard for me to count and do the deep breaths. So how about you all do the deep breaths and I will count for you. That might be a little easier. So take a deep breath in. 1, 2, 3, 4, and out. 2, 2, 3, 4. Let's take another deep breath. 1, 2, 3, 4. Hold at the top. Blow out. Try to use some sound and exhale. 1, 2, 3, 4. So during our time together, I just want everyone to remember to breathe. And I always say, as I'm talking to you, I'm talking to myself because I forget to breathe. I forget to breathe. And I'm sure some of you all forget to breathe too. And that's okay. That's okay. I'm here to remind you. So remember to take deep breaths as you're thinking, as you're listening to me. Relax your shoulders, unclench your jaw. And it's so funny. I was doing a meditation a few days ago and they were talking about unclenching my jaw. And I was like, wow, my jaw is really, tight. And then I started realizing for the rest of the day how tight my jaw was. Like I am out in the garden weeding. There's no stress, right? I mean, maybe like the prickly weeds, but there's no stress. And I noticed how tight my jaw was. And I was like, oh. So throughout the day, notice where there's tension in your body, like, you know, your shoulders are up to your ears, or maybe there's some pain, or your jaws clenched, or you're holding your breath. It's so interesting. I was talking to my therapist yesterday, and she was asked, as I was telling her story about something, she was like, how do you feel in your body, and where do you feel it in your body? And I also told you have I have a coach, right? And they also ask me, as we do the work, where do you feel it in your body? So that's something that I want to pass on to you, that the wise people in my life have given to me. Where do you feel the tightness in your body? And y'all, I'm sorry, it seems so dark. I have my ring light. No, that's still dark. Oh well, guess it's just, I don't know how to get the light. Now it looks like I'm telling spooky stories around a campfire. Okay. So just shake out any tension, and let's talk, right? How are you doing? How are you feeling? And like I said, I ask that because we get asked that at least once a day, if not multiple times a day, by strangers, by people that we know, by people that we're acquainted with. And typically, if you're listening to me, you're probably a very strong person, and you help others, and you give to others. But when it comes time for you to have some compassion, for you to have some grace, you don't allow that in others, right? So today, that's what we're going to do. This is going to be your time where I am just going to sit and be concerned about you, right? And this is what I do in a lot of my coaching sessions. And with that, so many things come up. But right now, I really want to ask, how are you doing? And I ask that because so many of the folks that I talk to, myself included, aren't doing well. We are living our normal lives, most of us. I'm here on live with you. I'm in safety. I'm well fed. I have electricity. I don't have any fear right now. My family is coming for the holiday tomorrow, so I'm in good spirits, right? My life is good. And with that, I can also acknowledge that life is not good for so many of our fellow hu- humans, citizens of the world. Um, and a lot of the people that I interact with on a daily basis, I mean, let's not say a lot. The people who I choose to interact with, my sisters in spirit. You know, I have friends who are so kind-hearted, and they are being the change that they want to see in the world, right? Like, they are doing the work. They are helping others. They are helping immigrants. They are helping the marginalized. They are, lawyers doing legal work for people in need. They're death doulas and Reiki masters, and people who love animals, and people who love people, and activists, and yogis. I mean, I musicians, artists. I just have so many people around me that are doing the work, right? And even though they're doing the work, contributing positively to the world, because I think that's what any work for us is exhausting, and it's tiring to care so much about humanity. Because let's be real, we see on TV, we see in our government, in other people's governments, our sometimes our neighbors, our family members. So many people don't care about others. So many people demonize others, stereotype others. And the reason I feel that people do this is because there's something lacking in them. I think we talked about it. I don't know if it was this week or a few weeks ago. I said I think the main cause for hate racism, misogyny, xenophobia, uh, people who are homophobic, transphobic, people who don't acknowledge others' abilities or disabilities. I think that comes from a place of insecurity and hate in oneself, right? So if I have strong feelings like hatred or I detest something or someone that's not causing me or anyone else harm, then I have to look within myself and say, what? Maybe I talked about that yesterday. What's going on? So really, I do think all of these isms that make our world a really horrible place at times is because of what those people who carry that hatred, what's going on in their lives, what's going on in their heads, conscious and subconscious. So with that, I think, and I know this sounds so Pollyanna, but remember, I'm a cultural anthropologist and I really look at cultures and societies and how that shapes who we are. I have found that if you are not happy with yourself, there's two people. You're not happy with yourself, so you make everyone else's life a living hell, right? And those people that aren't happy with themselves, and then they turn all of that inward and they make their lives a living hell, right? When they don't have to. Um, I think it's similar to like depression versus rage. I've read somewhere that depression is anger turned inwards, right? So all the anger that someone is feeling, instead of having that rage or anger outwards, um, people will turn it inside of themselves. And that's where uh, depression can begin or live or fester. Whereas other people, their anger is turned outwards, which, could be a good thing if you were a boxer or let's say an athlete and you were physically getting, that energy out through physical exertion, right? Without harming someone else. But then it could also be people that road rage, um, people who beat up strangers because they don't like the color of their skin or who their partner is or who they love. It's people that turn their anger and rage out on their children, right? In abuse. So yeah, I know that's like kind of a pretty heady concept, but I really want you to think about it. Like next time someone hurls anger at you, if you can stop for a moment, take a deep breath, and wonder if that anger is truly at something that you did. Like, did you harm them and then they're justifiably angry? Or does that anger that they just hurled at you have absolutely nothing to do with you, right? Example, if someone drives by my house and yells the N word um, out of their car window, and I use that example because it's happened before in the past. That's another story. I've had to start, I mean, this was decades ago, but I would have to examine, oh my goodness, what did I do something to that person that made them so angry at me? What did I do? If the conclusion is no, I have no idea who that person is. I've never seen them before in my life. They're just hurling insults at me for no reason, has nothing to do with me. Has nothing to do with me and everything to do with what that person is carrying, right? So I just kind of went off on a tangent, which is one of my favorite things, but I think it's a very deep and introspective tangent where if we could all just slow down a bit and ask ourselves why we feel the way we feel about certain groups of people. I'm probably preaching to the choir because perhaps if you're watching me, you are someone that values humanity in whatever form it comes in. And the labels um, are just labels, right? Just like you have a can of peaches and a can of cherries. They're just labels with different fruit in it. But you don't hate the can of cherries just because it's not the can of peaches, right? It's just a different fruit, a delicious fruit, right? Some people can't have that distinction. They hate the can of cherries. And if you are someone that hates the can of cherries, I really want you to stop and ask yourself why. What has the can of cherries done for you? Like, are you allergic to the cherries? You know, do they make you break out in hives and you need an EpiPen? That might be a reason to distance yourself. But if you just hate the cherries and you have no idea why, and for those of you who just joined in, my name is Kimberly Hess. I'm the founder of Sweet Like Honey Coaching, and we are talking about how you are doing today with everything going on. And I know people always are like, "Oh, how you doing?" And everyone's like, "Oh, just fine." So we're talking about that, and with talking about that, we were examining the internal processes of hate. Right? That might have been too long to put on my thumbnail for this live. But really, I really want people to start examining where the hate either that they hold is coming from or the hate that they see is coming from. And I tie this all back into how are you doing? Because so many times we take on other people's trauma, other people's plights, other people's hatred. And that's not necessarily a bad thing to do, but there are limits, right? Particularly if you're very compassionate, if you're very empathetic, then that's something that I want you to really be cautious of, right? Like when you are scrolling social media or you're watching the news or you're having conversations about the world, about politics, about war, about race, about money. First of all, notice how you feel. Like, how are you doing? Is your breath getting shallow? Are you feeling a heaviness weight on your chest? Then it might be time to excuse yourself from that situation. Excuse yourself politely from the conversation. um, Turn off the news, put down the phone, and take care of yourself. Because when I ask you how you're doing, I really mean it. And I want you to drop it in the comments wherever you are: TikTok, LinkedIn, YouTube. Once again, take a deep breath. And as I ask you, how are you doing? What comes up for you? Not the casual response we give to people, when we're getting coffee and we ask the barista, "Oh, how are you today?" And they're like, "Fine." And they're like, "How are you today?" And I'm like, "Oh, fine." Like, that's lovely. That's lovely. This is not what this is. This is not what this is. This is not lovely. I want you to really take a moment, close your eyes if you can, or soften your gaze. If you're working, just take 60 seconds. Just give yourself 60 seconds and ask, "How am I doing?" And I will start. How am I doing? I'm tired. Um, I'm tired because of the suffering that I see in the world. I'm also just tired physically. But I'm also at peace right now. Like I said, I'm feeling some excitement. My family is coming. I'm feeling very grateful for all of the wonderful friends and family that I have in my life. I'm grateful for my health, right? So, as I'm doing this, I want you to really be honest with how you feel, how you're doing today. Are you tired? Are you stressed? For those of you in the United States, are you excited about your 3-day weekend, right? Because tomorrow's a holiday, national holiday. Um, are you going to sleep in? Are you going to go to a cookout? Are you going to go to a festival? Do you not want to be bothered with people? Like, do you feel like you have to show up? Like, it's just you and me. Like, tell me how you're doing. And I was thinking about that because so many times, like, we're in such a rush, and it might be inappropriate. Like, if I go to the dollar store and ask the cashier, "So how are you doing?" But actually, that is kind of me, and it opens up a space for people to really share how they are. Because I told a story about earlier this week. I had a doctor's appointment, and I asked my nurse how she was doing. And we just started talking, and it kind of opened something up so she could share safely and without judgment how she's doing. Now we had the time, right? Because we're in a doctor's office. It wasn't like there were people in line behind me. And if you can, offer that to someone else, but only when you're completely filled up. And we're not going to do that today. Today is all about you. I want you to, if you're sitting down, move in your seat. If you're walking, keep walking, like try to shake. Like, let's get some of that energy out, because I really want you to be selfish right now and focus on how you're feeling. How are you doing? Right? What be in the present moment. Like, we're not thinking about what we're going to have for dinner. We're not thinking about the report we have to give our boss. We're not thinking about picking up our kids from summer camp, uh, or the new dress sitting in your, online shopping cart. Just right now, this give yourself this time to figure out how you're doing. And then how do you get better? Because there's always, we had talked about the, oh, I forgot what it's called. It's like the enlightenment scale. And at the very top is, I think, like love, and then enlightenment, right? And at the bottom is guilt and shame. So there's always one layer up. So if you're feeling happy, there's one layer up that you can go, like grateful or exuberant or at peace, right? So, and I'll leave, I think what is that called? Because I want you all to Google it. I think it's called the frequency scale. Frequency scale. Yes, it's called the. It's called a lot of things. The frequency scale. You can Google the vibration analysis, um, vibrational frequency scale, and like I said, at the very bottom is shame, and it has like a ranking of like 20. And at the very top is enlightenment, which is like 700 to 1,000. So I ask how you're feeling right now. So let's say you're feeling, you're feeling anger. You're angry at something. And that's okay. However you feel is how you feel. There's no judgment here. So the above anger is at 150. The scale above anger is pride at 175, right? So if you can just go from anger to pride, that's going to raise your vibration. Let's say you're feeling a lot of joy right now. Every you're just feeling joy. One above joy is 540. One above the step above joy is peace, which is 600. And then above peace is enlightenment, which is 700 to 1,000. Actually, love is 500, joy is 540, peace is 600, and then enlightenment. So joy is higher than love. So I say all this is Google that, figure out where you are. Let's just say, like right now, I'm at love at 500. How can I get myself to joy? Let's say you're at love. How can you get yourself to joy? How can you get yourself to peace? It could be something as simple as a walk outside in the sun, sitting in the sun, reading a book. It could be 10 minutes of meditation, like whatever it takes. But in order to raise that vibration, we have to figure out our set point. So that's why I ask you again, how are you doing? How are you really doing? I'm giving you time to answer. And now that you figured out like how you are, where can you go next? And that's all I want to share with you for the rest of the day is how can you feel better than you feel right now. And there's nothing wrong with how you feel right now, nothing wrong at all. But we always want to raise our vibration. Like, I really feel like that's why I'm here to raise your vibration. Um, one of my main tenets is I would like people to have learned something or feel better after walking away with me. I never want someone to be like, oh my goodness, Kimberly is just, whoo, she just lowered my vibration. Because we know those people. We know those people that who will call us or ask us to go out, or, and you're just like, oh, that's a lot of work. Like my energy's really low when I'm around that person. Take note of that. Because if it's not someone that you have to be around as much, keep all that energy within you. All right, my love. So, like I said, for those of you in the United States, there's a holiday tomorrow. Rest, eat well, enjoy your family, enjoy the fireworks. I will be back Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday at noon. Feel free to message me, to DM me if you have any questions. If you'd like to collaborate, work with me, schedule a workshop for your team, I got you. I got you. I want everyone to have a fabulous day. Take care of yourself. Remember that question I asked, how are you doing? Right? I want you to ask yourself that throughout the day, 2, 3, 4 times, because when's the last time you've asked yourself how you're doing, right? Like, how am I doing? I'm a little tired. I'm a little hungry. I'm a little stressed. How can I resolve that? How can I make myself feel better? Because I feel like we talked about it yesterday, being a people pleaser, and we are, especially for women, we are honed to take care of other people's problems. We're honed and programmed to make sure everyone else is okay. And very rarely do we stop and say, am I okay? How do I feel? How am I doing? What do I need? I want you to ask yourself all of that today and tomorrow and the next day and every day that you're alive, because you deserve it. I love you, my honeybees. Please reach out to me. Feel free to email me at kimberlyhessanthropologist@gmail.com. Message me on LinkedIn, YouTube, TikTok. I love you all, and I will talk to you soon. Bye.